I have been dragged kicking and screaming to the conclusion that a very high percentage of people within churches, and these are serious Christians, okay, they're real Christians, they're not Christian in name only, but they are dramatically undertaught. They are underestimated in terms of their desire, their appetite to think and challenged. And when they don't get that, it allows them, it gives them permission, or in some cases, it'll drive them to compartmentalize their faith. This is a thing I do on Sunday, and outside of Sunday, that's when my brain is engaged. You know, we have created that atmosphere.
And it's like, you ought to be able to defend what you believe to the harshest possible critics. I mean, I think that's kind of what harshest possible, maybe not, but you should be able to weather some severe opposition. That's what I think you're saying.
Yeah, I don't mind. It sounds a little silly, especially when you're talking about people with PhDs, but I don't mind people who are antagonistic if you can tell that they really want their question answered, like they're really looking for an answer here, as opposed to just, do some sort of, thing for attention within their community. I mean, that's just a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's disingenuous. But for those people, I don't have a whole lot of time. But for the other, it's like, yeah, that I have time for that because that's me. Let's be honest. I'm not gonna say something or just to irritate you or make you mad or just to see what kind of response I can get. I mean, if I ask you a question, the chances are really, really high that I would like an answer to that, or at least something that I can sort of throw in the blender and work with it. So I think that is really good. I think it's healthy. There is a resistance to it that's sort of almost, and I understand both culturally and historically why this is within the Christian community, because, how can I say this without sounding too pejorative? I have been dragged kicking and screaming to the conclusion that a very high percentage of people within churches, and these are serious Christians, okay, they're real Christians, they're not Christian in name only, but they are dramatically undertaught. They are underestimated in terms of their desire, their appetite to think and challenged. And when they don't get that, it allows them, it gives them permission, or in some cases, it'll drive them to compartmentalize their faith. This is a thing I do on Sunday, and outside of Sunday, that's when my brain is engaged. We have created that atmosphere. Unfortunately, I think the church is largely to blame for that. So I understand that when you have that context, you are going to lose people. They're going to abandon their faith, and so that creates fear within the community. And instead of moving the direction that, well, maybe we ought to find some people who can help our people thoughtfully engage X, Y, or Z, they'll just circle the wagons, which is a natural impulse, natural community impulse to do, but it compounds the problem. It doesn't solve it in any way. It makes it worse. So, I know enough about you to know, you run into that every day. It's discouraging, but okay, it's discouraging, but it's still the right answer.
Yeah, right.
It's still the right answer, as discouraging as it is, as meager as the results are. Yeah. It's still the right answer. So some to do it and say it, and be okay with it. I'm okay with people looking at me like I got two heads. I'm kind of used to that now. But you just try to look. I'm your friend. I'm asking you this question. I'm telling you your argument stinks. Because I don't want you to run into someone who hates your faith and wants to destroy you. I don't want them to do it. I should be the person to do that. Actually, your pastor should be the person to do that. So I'm your friend. You should be willing to have this conversation with a friend before instead of having it with an enemy.